Drew. Thank you everybody who's come. And I know, Drew, I don't know if you know, but there are people walking in to buy coffee, which I think is awesome. This is community. Those of you who just walked in to get coffee, let us invite you to stay on for some stories. Oh, you got tickets. Darn it. I thought you just wandered in. Some people did, but they wandered out again. But thank you so much to Drew for having the show here. Drew is a true ally. I can't, without people like Drew, without people like the Charles River Museum of Industry, who hosts the big show that happens twice a year. By the way, if you didn't know it, this show has been dubbed the Wee-WaW. And the WaW is W-A-W, which stands for We Are Waltham. And no, it isn't to signify ambulances that are going to be blaring their sirens to come take you away. It's just a clever, it's my lame humor. But thank you everybody for coming here. As Drew said, this show was something that came about from a need to try and knit together a community that's fractured by differences, as any community must be. What an awful, awful world it would be if we all thought the same way, all felt the same way. But what happens sometimes is what causes hate and division is when we don't understand why somebody else makes the choices that they do. And through storytelling, what we're hoping to do through this show is help you walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, right? Stand right next to them as they take you through memories. And so that's what you're going to be hearing today. We have 4 storytellers who are alumni of the big show, which happens twice a year at the Charles River Museum just down the road. That show is basically 6 tellers who have worked extremely hard on their stories, and it's a ticketed show. People come, listen, and they go away hopefully touched, hopefully having learned something about another life that they did not know before, right? This Wee-WaW event is so dear to my heart. This is the second one we're having this year, because what I'm going to do is I have 4 alumni of previous shows. We've wrapped up 2 years of shows now, who are going to share a brand new story with you. If you like their story, you should go to the website, wearewaltham.com, and check out when they told stories on the big stage. But what we're going to also do is we're going to give you guys a chance to share your stories. So if you're sitting at a table, and if you're not sitting at a table as you came in, there's pens and index cards. Think about stories that resonate with you. True stories. This is not fiction. This is not poetry. Not a place for hate. Real memories from your life that you can tell in a small way, beginning, middle, and end. Why does it matter to you? It could be the smallest incident. Those ones actually are the best stories. The little things that we overlook, they're everything. It's everything. It changes you. It touches you. So today's format, Drew's told you a little bit already. We'll have 2 storytellers, a small musical interlude for 15 minutes in which you should feel free to get up, order coffee, dessert, mocktails, buy some raffle tickets maybe, and pen down your thoughts. Then we'll have 2 more tellers, another 15-minute little break, and then I'm going to start collecting the cards that you have. I'm going to read through them, and I'm going to pick some, and then I'm either going to read them out loud, or I'm going to call out that if you sign your name on the card, I'll call out your name, or I'll read the first line, and I'll say, would you like to read your own story? And then you can come right up here, take the mic, and read your story, and it'll be a true community storytelling event. So with that being said, I will move on to my first teller today. We have Alicia Hutton, who was on show number 3, which happened in April of this year. An introduction: Alicia and her husband Miles have 2 daughters, one at McDevitt Middle School and one at Waltham High, so she is deeply entrenched in Waltham community. They are proud residents of Waltham South Side and have been since 2005. Alicia loves pickleball, cats, writing. I have cats here a second time. She must really like cats. And she loves cooking, but not baking, which I can relate to. I don't know, baking powder and me are not friends. Never acts the way I wanted to. She loves true crime podcasts and shows so much that she made her career in the criminal justice field. But she's here with a brand new story. I encourage you to go to the website and check out the story she told before. It's pretty unforgettable. Alicia?
A round of applause for Alicia, Tea Party Trustee. Thank you.
Can everyone hear me? Okay. Okay. Well, my mother has been coming to Waltham every Tuesday for the last 22 years. You could set your clock by it. It started as a trip to visit her ailing mother at a nursing home right over the Newton line. And she would come, she would always bring a bouquet of Gerber daisies to brighten up my grandmother's room. She'd bring a bowl of cut up fruit for the staff. And she would push my grandmother in her wheelchair to either the common area or the outside area. They might have a little something to eat, and then my mom would say goodbye and go home. So fast forward a number of years, still on Tuesdays, my grandmother's gone, but my babies have arrived, and she's coming to my house now to be her own doting grandmother. And she loves to get the kids fed, get them dressed in pink, and put them in their strollers. My one daughter had a blankie with her name embroidered on it, and the other one liked to hold a little, if anybody remembers, about 13 years ago, this plastic giraffe that was very popular for the kids to chew on. So she'd get them in their strollers and she would push them up and down the path on the Charles River as long as she could until they were just about falling asleep. She'd get them back in the house and she'd put them down for a nap. And you might think that this 68-year-old woman at the time would need a nap herself, but no, she would do yard work. That's what she liked to do in her downtime. So she'd go out to the yard, and instead of pushing the stroller, she would sometimes push our lawnmower and actually mow our lawn, in addition to occasionally weeding or cutting the bushes or whatever. So that happened often enough that when my husband would drive into the driveway after work and get out in his leather shoes and button-down shirt, our sort of burly macho neighbor with this pristine lawn would say, "Hey, I saw your mother-in-law mowing your lawn today," with this like sarcastic side eye, and my husband would slink in the house. So another thing you could set your clock by was that my mom would, before she left, she would cook us dinner, which is always wonderful to have a home-cooked meal, always appreciated, and it was always the same day. Every Tuesday, we had salmon that was grilled in the pan with just salt and pepper, steamed green beans, and this rice that she would make with like a brown orzo, sort of like a rice pilaf. And, you know, it was delicious. But she would pretend that we didn't have the salmon every Tuesday. She would say, "Oh, by the way, I got you a nice piece of fish for dinner." And we would have to say, "Oh, great, that sounds lovely." And we would sit down, and after she left, we would have our salmon. It was great. So, the last few years, her trips on Tuesday to Waltham have included my dad, because my dad is suffering from dementia, and he likes an outing. He always likes an outing. So Tuesdays, he's joined her for the outing. My kids are grown, they obviously don't need the care anymore, but she'll get him into the living room, she'll put him down in the armchair, get him the newspaper, and now that my husband and I are working from home occasionally, we will walk through the living room and he'll read us a headline and we'll comment on it, a little current event, and then the next time we walk through the living room, he'll read us the same headline and he makes for the same comment, and that goes on all day. And the other reason he the other thing we hear multiple times a day is, "Where's your mother? Where's your mother?" Because he gets comfort from that. And almost all the time you can say, "Well, she's out in the yard." So at the end of the day, she makes the salmon and they go home to Yarmouthport. It's 68 miles one way, and so that's the trip she's been making. So just a few weeks ago, I had a minor surgical procedure, no big deal, but of course I'm fretting like any mom would, like who's gonna pick up the kids, who's gonna drop them off, who's gonna get them to school, blah, blah. And I was so many things going through my head that I forgot about the dinner, and I sort of said out loud, like, oh my God, what are we gonna have for dinner tomorrow night? And my older daughter said, Mom, calm down, we're having salmon, it's Tuesday. Oh, you're right. So I took sort of a deep breath, and this funny thought occurred to me. I thought, you know, some people look for heroes running into a burning building, but I just need to look in my own backyard.